Y'all check this out.
And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Who do we
You're
vote
talking
for?
to a radical, not a Democrat. The radical mind state is living opposite to our colonizers, which is an imperialist, capitalist mind state, and radical blacks do not believe that that is any way for us to have liberation. Well, here's
So
what
when
you
you-
all keep
no,
doing.
no, no,
You
just
keep interrupting me when I'm talking, and you don't want to hear the
But the
point that I'm
point
going to
you're-
make.
the point that
And
you're
yet you want
raising-
me to respect your point. And that's not how a debate works. If I show you respect, give me the respect back. Ooh, I knew I was going to be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's go. Greetings. I am Amanda Seals, widely known as a comedian, an actress, a disruptor, an annoying person on the internet who always tells the truth. And I am now an artistic intellectual who commits myself to making art that educates. And today, I am surrounded by 20 black conservatives.
Ooh, this is not our normal video because it's not about dating or relationships or sex, but I'm hoping you'll watch this one from beginning to end. We're reacting to Amanda Seals' viral debate with 20 black conservatives tonight on Dear Black Gay Men podcast, and the show starts right now. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at Jai the Gentleman on IG. It's Monday, so it's time for a new episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast. It's still our short, bullshit-free step out of our comfort zone to talk about all the emotional ups and downs along the journey to happiness. Hopefully, this is our midweek reminder of how dope it is to be black gay men and love black gay men. For the last several weeks, from topics of my heritage as a child of an immigrant, a conversation with Uche that we had last week, who is a black gay man who fled Nigeria for asylum here in the United States, to that offhanded comment from a viewer when he, she, or they, I don't know which, said, I should go back to the country my father is from. Regardless of what issues exist in other parts of the world, America has a problem. This debate has come up in my friendship circle as well. I'll tell you a story. I'm an avid participant in the Target Fast. Target has been actively working to undermine their black customer base by pulling out of DEI programs and scaling back measures for inclusion. And one of my closest friends boycotted with us for 90 days, then just decided to start giving his money back to a company that I believe doesn't see the value of our dollars. Target and Target Fast became an off-limits conversation for us. So, of course, in Jay the Gentleman, I don't know why I zoned out for a second. So I know firsthand how politics can impact a friendship or relationship. Tonight, we're reacting to Jubilee's one black radical, Amanda Seals, versus 20 black conservatives. Remember, if you got an opinion, and I know that y'all have an opinion about this topic, join us live on the show by going to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com. The link is in the comments. But first, it's time for some church announcements. Hit it. Every week, I write about the ups and downs of my dating journey on our blog on Substack. It is a deep dive into my emotional and sexual trials while I manifest my man in 2025. This one I'm really proud of. It says I interviewed 50 couples, and here's what no one is telling us about dating. I have interviewed so many people in loving and caring relationships, and there are some nuggets that they gave me on why a lot of us still are in the dating pool and why we can't seem to get out. You can join us for free on Substack by clicking the screen now, or the link is in the description. I don't use condoms. I posted about how I prefer DoxyPep to prevent sexually transmitted infections and PrEP to prevent HIV, and I got so many questions about if I'm scared to catch something. Being a black gay man who has sex almost exclusively with black gay men in the South, there may always be a risk associated with how I choose to have sex and who I choose to have sex with. But there's one piece that black queer culture may be missing. My sex feels good. My pleasure is important. And the people I have sex with and the sex that I have with them matter to me. Disease prevention should enhance that. We each have to choose our own prevention mechanism that does two things. Number one, it makes us feel at ease when we entangle. And number two, it safeguards us from infection without compromising the vibe. That's why we partnered with BHOC to help black queer culture update and maintain their status for Southern HIV/AIDS Awareness Day on August 20th. This week, For more information about PrEP or PEP or at-home HIV testing, you can comment awareness and I'll DM you. If you're watching this, the replay on YouTube, the link to BHOC Partners is in the description. You can subscribe for more dope queer stories. The best way, easiest way to support what we do here on Dear Black Gay Men is to become a YouTube member. Members get access to exclusive conversations, the members only chat, behind the scenes content, and you can join me to chop it up on the show. A portion of your memberships will be donated to an Atlanta area nonprofit providing HIV prevention and care in Black gay culture. Just hit the join button below this episode or send a super chat of any amount. For all the latest updates, follow me everywhere at JAI the Gentleman on Instagram and Threads. That concludes our church announcements. Please govern thyself accordingly, and we will be right back. The show got good. I thought I was spicy vanilla, but tonight I've learned I'm deep into the extremist end of the kink freak spectrum.
Then it got even better.
Nutted. They asked me if he could pee in me, and I was nervous. What did it feel like? But it felt good.
Live from the back room every Thursday on YouTube. We ain't never had a conversation this good.
Start fighting and it's over nothing. Like, why?
Nothing was off limits.
What do you look for? Top thing, first thing. You scrolling on the apps and you like, how has HIV impacted your daily life?
Then it got a little petty.
Worked the same way that the negative hole worked. I said,
Celebrating National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. It's the HIV Talk on Dear Black Gay Men podcast.
What up, though? Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. I am excited about some things that are happening. There are so many things happening in the comments. Let me pull my computer in. Y'all know I'm over here. A King says, hey, Kev. A King was in the chat, number one person. He said he was going to log off of Carlos King to come over here. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Kev. It's Aaron in the building tonight. What about Twink Sex Support too? Neither of them are here tonight. I will let both of them know in our group chat that y'all have asked about them. TVMJ says, hey Jay and DBMJ. Hey TMJ. Benjamin Johnson says, hey Jay, with your thick fine self. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will tell you this week I am so excited about the things happening here on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Y'all know we have two very special shows this week. And then, of course, another one on Thursday. On tomorrow, the owners of Virgil's and Breakfast Boys will be here, Juan and G. They are internet famous for all of the things they do here in Atlanta and abroad. They are the founders of the Gentlemen's Foundation. They have three restaurants here in Atlanta. They're going to be here on the sofa right over there tomorrow at 8 p.m. And then on Wednesday, Geronel, he was on The Four. Now, I don't want to do a deep dive on The Four because that was a show by P. Diddy, but he is a extremely talented singer. He will be here. He's a LA-based recording artist. He will be here on the show live for y'all to ask all of your questions on Wednesday, and then we have a very special show on Thursday. Thursday is my sister's birthday. Y'all don't know my sister, but she is one of the most important people to me, and I will be celebrating her birthday, not here on the show, but we will be doing our show here on Thursday, and then after I will be going straight to see her. I'm so excited. My sister, my big sis. I tell everybody that I am the first intern. My sister works in social work. She always has an intern or someone she's training. I was the first number one intern that ever existed in the world. So I'm very excited to be celebrating her on Thursday. We already celebrate her birthday for a couple reasons, but we already celebrate her birthday, but Thursday is the actual day. So I'm really excited. Tonight we're reacting to one Black Radical versus 20 Black Conservatives featuring Amanda Seales. Now, I'll tell y'all, I don't necessarily agree with everything Amanda Seales says and does and how I don't know if it's how she communicates or what she's saying that just kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes. But I disagree with Black conservatism even more. One thing I respect about Amanda, though, is while I'm just not a combative person, just in general. But people like, and I hope I'm not offending anybody by grouping these people together, but like Amanda Seales, Dominique Morgan, Hope Giselle, there are some people that are like deep in the fight. They are on the front line and are willing to throw the first brick. And I appreciate them because we all reap the benefits of their hard work. Uh, I'm just not one of those people. So we shall see. I haven't seen this complete interview because I wanted to react to it live on the show, but we used AI to generate some high points from the conversation, and that's what we're reacting to tonight. The full conversation is going to be linked in the description. I recommend everybody. I will be watching the full show after this, but I will recommend everybody watch the whole thing because it is important, I think, for us to see what the other side of the aisle is thinking. I'm just assuming that all of us are on the liberal. She is a black radical, so she's even past the liberal line. But I'm assuming that most of us, if not all of us, are some kind of Democrat or liberal. And so it's important to figure out like how do they think and what do they think. Now, I will say from what has been scrolling up and down my timeline, some of the shit these people saying is batshit crazy. Absolutely don't get how they as black people got to this kind of ideology, but we shall see. I have not seen the 4 clips either. And let me say this other thing. Like I was toiling my ass off trying to get that chat to pop up on the screen. But if you notice, like it's a blank screen right now, so ain't gonna be no chat on the stream tonight. But I would definitely have it back tomorrow because I want to see y'all reactions and all the things. My apologies for the technological blip. Again, I'm gonna hit up Twink Tech Support. We'll see what he can do. But let's go.
But at the end of the day, I see when my family lives on the south side of Chicago, and I think you and I both can attest to this, and I'm not saying that there are not other factors, but we know that we kill each other at a disproportionate rate than any other race. Now, why we do that and why 6,000 to 9,000 black men are gonna be homicided or killed or whatever by the end of the year annually by other black men, whereas the likelihood of
I can't stand like y'all remember that scene of The Devil Wears Prada when Andy Sachs was in there with Nigel and Miranda and it was a run through and Miranda was like this stuff. Oh, I see. I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. And it was the way that Andy had boiled down this whole fashion industry to stuff. That resonated with me when I start thinking about my black journey because anytime like this girl, whoever she is, I don't know her name, but she's opposite Amanda Seales, so I'm assuming she's a black conservative. When she says 6 to 9,000 of black men will be homicided or whatever, grinds my gears. The idea that she can be so blasé about black lives being shed. It absolutely just grinds my gears to hear the or whatever at the end of that sentence. Black lives are being shed and lost, and she's or whatevering it into oblivion. Let me see what's going on in these comments since I can't see y'all on the chat. Body Smooth, hey DBGM and the chat team. Hey yo. Please don't use AI. It uses too much fresh water. What does that mean? Unpack that for me. It uses too much fresh water. Uh I've gone more independent. Panther says I've gone more independent. Okay. What do you mean by that, Panther? Like what is a issue that you feel independence more reflects your ideology than liberal or radical or whatever you were before? I'd imagine that means independent being some like I believe a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And you blend that together in your own mix of political ideology to make it specific to you. So what took you from liberal to a blend? What you know, Joe says a lot of those black conservatives came to be argumentative. I I did not I have not seen the whole thing. I'm waiting till after the show, but I'd imagine that a lot of people are coming to either be combative because they think they're smarter than somebody or that they are looking for a moment. And the irony is the only person that gave their name that I could like follow is Amanda Seales. So clearly there ain't no moments to be had. And now as someone who is a black conservative, as someone who is not a black conservative, there's no reason for me to follow any of them. But shout out to them. Uh K Brav, the or whatever is indicative of her not truly caring about the black lives being lost. I agree. I think that now I do, perhaps it's me giving grace, but I will say that I do acknowledge that sometimes, just sometimes, it could be nerves or being caught up in the moment to and just, a turn of phrase to say things like or whatever or this stuff as I use in the example. But when you are a black conservative with one very clear viewpoint, debating a black radical with another very clear viewpoint, we ain't got no time, space, or energy to be entertaining you or whatever's. And then the idea, I just wonder how disconnected do you have to be from black culture to or whatever your way into or out of an argument about black lives being lost? How disconnected do you have to be? But this is one question that comes up in my head. Like when you hear black conservative, what do you assume about these people? Like what are other adjectives that we are putting on these people? John C says, "What up? Hey, what up?" Like in my head, black conservative probably says things like blue lives matter. I guarantee you there's a Confederate flag in there somewhere. Or all lives matter. Black conservative just sounds to me like pull yourself up by your bootstraps and figure it out. I did or whomever else did some bullshit like let me quit. All right, let me keep going listening to this lady.
Of a black man being killed by a white police officer is less than 150 per year.
Police have killed on average 238 black men per year since 2017, about 58% more than 58% more per year. Damn. Damn, that pissed me off. Um, yeah, I'm feeling something. Okay, let's keep going.
We know that we kill each other at a higher rate. So I'm not debating that there are not factors at play, but because I've lived the experience as a black woman losing my father to be murdered by a black man walking
I'm
down
sorry
the
to
street
hear that,
being
by the way.
no worries, thank you. But walking down the street in inner cities and different things, knowing that
Can I pause right here? I don't know if it's me being biased because of what she's saying, but her whole outfit and this wig that she got on just feel very suburban. Very I went to a white school. I just don't know that a black girl who's in like notice the stark contrast in Amanda Seals' attire. Very Afrocentric, very she got her locks out, she's got her big glasses. She is ready for a brawl with her fist up, right? And old girl is very if her name was Becky, I would not be surprised. Am I the drama? Am I the drama? If her name was Becky or Rachel or Amanda, ironically, I would not be surprised. Like I think there's this meme that says that there is nobody more pro-black than a light-skinned girl who's been mistaken for being white or biracial. Okay, Brad said the outfit in her hair is giving Pentecostal. TMJ says suburban white soccer mom with the suburban white soccer mom with the tan. Benjamin says I thought the same thing that horsehair is giving a My Little Pony. Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out. Chat. And I really wish I could like put y'all on the screen because when y'all are on the screen, I feel like we're actually talking to each other. But answer me this, and I've asked this a couple times. As black people, because we are multicultural, there's multiple countries represented in the chat, but as black people, when you see somebody, are there some telltale signs that you like, oh, she, they got a white man? Are there some telltale signs that they grew up around white people? And the reason I ask, and I'll tell y'all a quick story. So I was born in Flint, Michigan before the water crisis. And I lived in Flint, Michigan until I was 14. but I had my birthday's late in the year, so I was always a year ahead. So I went through uh all of my young kid years, elementary school, middle school, and 2 years of high school living in Flint. The high school I attended, because Flint is primarily a black city, the high school I attended was 95% black. But the middle school I attended was all white. I went to a private Catholic middle school. Hated every second of it. The teachers didn't like me. The people didn't like me. I never got a fair shake at anything. And the fun fact, I was a failing student at this private school. Passed just by the skin of my teeth. Like computer science, uh math, and gym and band were probably the four A's that I got to offset D's and F's and a whole bunch of other shit, right? Because I was in this white ass school and I was the only fucking black dude and I couldn't be myself, right? Go to a black high school, everything changed. All of a sudden, I'm straight A's because I'm around my people. Like every day, it's like my nigga, like full disclosure, right? And so having had this and then we moved from Flint to these very suburban places. I lived outside of Indianapolis for a year, and I lived outside of Dallas, Texas for a long time until I moved to the middle of the city, to the hood. Oak Cliff, that's my hood. Put it in his face, get that shit understood. If anybody from Dallas, you know what that reference is, right? Song by Damn D. And so now in my life, I've had these experiences of living in the city, but being around white people. I've lived in being in the city, being around black people. I've lived in the suburbs, being around white people, and I've lived in the city, being right back in the hood where I feel myself, right? Now that I've had all of that experience, when I look at a black person, I'd be like, oh, they probably into white people. Because I know what that looks like. I know what black girls look like who are into white boys. I know what white boys look like who are into white boys. I know what black boys look like who into white boys. Like I know what interracial looks like, I think. Do y'all have similar experience? Like you know what, like you look at a dude and be like, oh, he probably ain't into me. That might be counterintuitive to our normal content, but help me out in the comments. Do y'all ever look at a black dude and be like, oh, he probably not into black dudes. Not from a low self-esteem place, but just, he looked like he into white dudes. And I grew up in the American Eagle Abercrombie days. And so if you were wearing like wide leg distressed denim with flip-flops in the middle of December, absolutely, you into white boys. Bill says, yes, you're being biased. She's clearly from a black community because her father was murdered in one. I don't know that those are the same things. I don't know that father being murdered murdered by a black person and being from a black community are the same thing, Bill. I'm not sold on making that stretch. I know many people who were murdered by white people who came from the inner city. I know many people who had to go to white spaces to get services, to get a whole bunch of things that have nothing to do with the community that they're raised in. So I'm not willing to make the reverse of that, as in she faced some type of trauma or some type of issue in a black community, so that means she came from one. I ain't going there. I appreciate the commentary, but I can't infer that stretch from what we saw. The whole bunch of yeses in the chat. I imagine that's the question that I got. Barry Moten said fully. There's a whole bunch of new names that I ain't never seen in the chat. What up to y'all? Hey y'all. Winter Minute said yes, LMAO. They just carry themselves different. I think it's a walk. Like I think there is a distinct difference in the walk. Sip Sauce says sometimes. Panthro said, because for me, I grew up with majority white. Got it. Benjamin Johnson said, we can tell who's at the cookout and not only that who should be cooking at the cookout, if that makes sense. I think you wanted to say we can't tell who's at the cookout or not, only that who should be cooking at the cookout. Fun fact, and this will be a little more lighthearted. but like there was this reel or this meme long time ago about about a lady, and she had her hands out and she got like not super long, but like long red nails that are like egg shaped teardrop nails. And it was like, and she got a big ring on her, and she got that little fat. I got the fat too, but she got that little fat on her fingers. And they said that's the one you want to make sure you eat her potato salad. Like you can tell who should be cooking at the cookout by the way they held their hands. I'm here for that. Let's see. Let's keep going. What I don't know if there's a response from the girl from Amanda here, but let's see what's happened. Wrong button. My bad.
It's more likely that my own brother will rob and rape me than a white man or a white officer. We got to be real.
What's your proximity to white men in the south side of Chicago? Are there even white men around to rob and rape you at the same rate that there are black men?
There are white men around.
At the same rate?
There wasn't a lot of black people in there, but then that doesn't justify the fact that we're destroying each other. So even if we get to the root, like
we can agree on that,
okay,
sis.
because I feel like a lot of
Nothing
times liberals will
justifies.
argue like, well,
I'm not
the
a
white people
liberal.
are killing
I am not
people.
I'm not a liberal.
Okay, well, I will say that people that sometimes have your stance that are against conservatives, maybe they have this claim that they're making it up, they're making up the numbers. We know that we do that to each other. So I want to get to the root of the issue. Why are we killing each other? I think the root of the issue is we've lost our values and we've lost our resilience as black people. We sit there and we talk about what the white man did and we talk about slavery and everything like that, but we have no self-accountability and say, you know what, at the end of the day, that is my black grandmother, that is my black sister, you are my black sister, and you know that a black man is more likely to rob you or commit some type of crime against you, and that's what we need to get down to the issue.
It's funny because it's my own thing at the end. I just realized that was there. Okay. The irony is I am sitting here thinking this girl is out of touch. She's just out of touch with the plight of black people. The fun fact is, so when I moved to Atlanta, I'll tell y'all this. When I moved to Atlanta, my mother, I stayed with my mom. I'm not ashamed of that. Stayed with my mom. I lived in her basement for a long time because I just needed a change in my life. And that was the way the cookie was crumbling. And so I moved to the south side of DeKalb County. I won't tell you the city, but my studio is in Decatur. I do not live in Decatur, but my studio is in Decatur, but I lived, in the south side of DeKalb. I lived a very normal life. I woke up every day. I went to the gym. I went to the grocery store. I went to all these places, right? I would say that I live in a very black part of the city in a very black community. Never once did I ever feel in hurt, harm, or danger from being attacked by a black person. Ironically, when I started applying to jobs and I had to go to the north side of Atlanta in Fulton County, and I had to see, oh, this is where the white people are, that's when I started feeling unsafe because police the police will police neighborhoods very differently up there. Black folk know you go to Cobb County, that's where black folk go to get arrested. We know we are not treated the same there. And the irony of her argument in this video is that I never once felt unsafe in my black community, but perhaps her perspective is lending to where she may feel unsafe around black people. And I think that is again a red herring for how out of touch she is with black culture. The fact that that people walk and talk and look like her, but she doesn't feel safe around them. That is probably the biggest identifier that she ain't invited to the cookout. Not because, statistical analysis of whatever. It's because, girl, you don't trust your own people. She probably, and again, in my head, because it's Dear Black Gay Men, I process everything through dating. And I'm like, she probably got a white man I'll just say a white man because that is what makes her feel safe. But the irony about even that is the second that you get with a white man and have babies, them kids is black. Those are you are creating black people that you are demonizing in your ideology. Because no matter how close or proximal you are to whiteness, you cannot co-create with a white person and make a white baby. So the second that she has a son or a daughter for that matter, she is creating the bodies that she is demonizing in her ideology. And that is the part that just does not make sense to me. She is creating the bodies that she is talking about or whatever that they don't process in my head. Let's keep going.
My claim is that black people as a community need to walk away from the Democratic Party and progressivism completely. I'm saying this from a very unique perspective. I'm not trying to shout myself or anything. This is really just my experience. Currently, I'm running for Congress, right? And one of the biggest hurdles I have in doing that is the black community. It's because they expect us to be in this box.
What's the box?
The box would be, okay, you're black, so you got to be a Democrat. You got to think this way. You have to have this view on this matter.
No, you got to tell me, think what way?
Like,
I really want to understand.
So let's take immigration. That's
Okay.
a hot button issue right now, especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
My view is that you should come here the legal way, and that if you don't come here the legal way, you are subject to the laws.
Is he wearing a dashiki? Is that a dashiki? He got... Wait a minute, said, we not vote for you, fool. The irony is, and again, this is my bias. This is me being biased. The irony is, no, I'll put him back up.
Of the country.
It's not the views that showed me who he was. It's that damn mustache. I know you do not rock, as a black man, you don't rock that mustache lest you are 65 on Social Security with a pension. You can't be in your 30s running for Congress with that mustache and be like, I'm gonna get the black vote. He ain't got the right people in his circle. He needed to workshop that ideology, bro. You can't tell me that he really thought this particular mustache with this particular dashiki, this hair store dashiki with this too little ass blazer is what he is going to get the black vote. Because let me tell you one thing I know about black people, because I've been a black person a long periodically time. Black people know our kinfolk. Kinfolk look and walk and talk a certain way. And I don't want to compare this man to the greatest president this side of heaven, but Barack Obama. Barack Obama is biracial. His father is Kenyan. His father is Luo. My family is Luya, two different tribes in Kenya. But his father is Kenyan. His mother is white, born and raised in Hawaii, right? No matter his lineage, I would wager that black people looked at Barack Obama and said, "Oh, he getting invited to the cookout." He had a fade. The only thing that could have made that man blacker was like some deep waves and a black and mild or some shit. Like, but Barack Obama looked like he gonna get into the cookout as a multiracial black man. He obviously ain't getting no invitation to no cookouts. I think we know what his political stance is long before he ever opens his mouth about anything. But again, that's just me. And what I'm learning is in this debate, we're talking about some very short clips, but what I'm learning is there are some very distinct identifiers of black culture among people. We don't need, I guess I could just put me up. We don't need a whole bunch of preamble to know if you stand for or against us. I think, and y'all let me know in the comments because we're about to run through some of them. But I think there are some pretty distinct characteristics that black people look for in skin folk versus kinfolk. And what I'm learning is a lot of these black conservatives are skin folk. These are the people that Fox News and the Trump presidency and Republican Party will platform because look at my African American. I remember when Donald Trump said that, look at my African American. But I think that by and large, we black folks know who is for us and who is against us long before someone opens their mouth. And maybe that's black intuition. Maybe that's just us knowing. Like, for instance, I know long before somebody opens their mouth whether or not they're one of the girls. I don't need you to come out of the closet to me. I know. And I ain't been wrong not once yet. Now, there are many people that I look at and be like, I really don't care if you're straight or not. I don't care what you call yourself. But by and large, if someone is queer or LGBTQIA plus, I know. I can look at you. Now, the flip side of that is I keep myself open for them to disprove me. I'm not gonna indict you to what I think you are. But by and large, my intuition, my gut will tell me who is for me and who is against me. And each of these people that has spoken, I'll be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Your views track with what I see in front of me. But let's keep going. Oh, no, let's run through some comments. Winterman said, I don't know which one you talking about, Winterman is, but I think this is funny. He's actually getting removed from the cookout. That mustache, if you talking about who I'm talking about, that mustache, it will get you booted. Unless you are already on Social Security. Like, if you put in 40 years on the job and now you got them sandals on with some socks and them cargo shorts with an apron and you got some tongs in your hand at the grill, then I think you can get away with that mustache. I got a couple people at the cookout where my mama from that got that mustache. But you can't be younger than me rocking that mustache. You can't be younger than me rocking what he got on. And again, I'm talking about the mustache, but the icing on the cake for me was that hair store dashiki. He was trying to show that he down for the people. He down for the cause. When you're absolutely not. Itachi says, "Hey King, Amanda made a comment to the same sentiment because some of them was just all wrong." I don't know the reference there. Let's keep going. Mel says, right. The Black Fiasco. He went to the most expensive high school in Hawaii and was raised by his white grandparents. What is the if you still hear the Black Fiasco, what is the purpose of what are you getting at here? The brother Osho, Obama wasn't an advocate for reparations for black people. He was great in so many other categories. He wasn't perfect. I agree with that. Mel C says Stacey Dash Cousins. Let me tell y'all about Stacey Dash. That is one person that I just wish would have kept her mouth shut. She ain't had to say nothing. Stacey goddamn Dash. Because she was part of the culture. All of us saw her on Clueless and Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She popped up on Living Single. She just had to shut her ass up and she would have gone down with the greats in black culture. God. Sip Sauce says, nah, Obama was definitely black faces in high places and not going to save us type. I bet Amanda would agree. I disagree with that one, but I hear what you said. But thank you for chiming in the chat. Akin says, I screamed when she said it because hearing rap music and black on black crime for the 1,000th time let me know they were all reading the same script. Yeah. Real shit with Darren T. They don't even know what they're talking about. Most black conservatives speak about the black community's problems, but don't understand how whiteness has created our problems. I would take that one step further, real shit. Or Darren, maybe I should call you Darren T. But I think that there is one thing to have researched or read something about black people and black culture and black communities. It's another thing to have lived it. And every person that I know that is grown up in a black community has a very different perspective of the problems in black community than those who did not. And then I'll take that one step further. People who I know who have lived in black communities and are still in black communities have very different perspective than those who lived at them and quote got out. And I think a lot of black conservatives either never got into the black community and have all these opinions about it because they think black community walks and talks with them, and it doesn't. Or they got lived in the black community, born in it, or grew up in it, and then got out, and all of a sudden their distant history, their distant connection to blackness justifies their ideology in their head. And I think neither of those are appropriate. It's just like, to me, gay people who do not have gay friends. Yes, you are one of the girls, but do you know what it's like to navigate space here? Or black gay people who don't have black gay friends. Fun fact, I'll tell you this. I I was on Tinder a while ago. I am not anymore because Tinder moves too slow for me. But I was on Tinder. And you know how Tinder will connect like your Instagram or your Facebook profile, and at the bottom of your Tinder profile it'll have, a strip of pictures from everywhere else. And if I see you at the top as a black face, as a black person, and then I scroll down and I notice that you don't have any other black friends, swipe left. I cannot date the black friend. I can't even be interested in the black friend. Now, if that same person's on Sniffies or Grinder or something, I will fuck the black friend because you still black. But I can't be in close emotional connection to the black friend, the black person who does not have black people in their life. Because again, there is a distinct difference between the lived experience of a black person in black culture and a black person out of it. And if I were debating any of these people, I would wager that we would have a problem, or that would be a disconnect of how I define black culture versus how they do. They think I'm a black person. I am in black culture because I'm black, and I'm like, that ain't the case for me. But again, who are me? Let's keep going. Let's see what old boy handlebar mustache was
The
saying.
country. But I also feel
I don't
that
think
if you're
anyone would disagree with that.
yeah, but well, I'm just saying is that a lot of people, especially where I'm from San Diego, will like to put black conservatives in this box. And the reason why I say specifically in my claim that black people need to walk away from the Democratic Party is because every single election cycle, all they do is use us as their tokens. They use us as their kind of election tools. They use us as these campaign posters. They tell us to come to their rallies. They tell us to sing on their stages. They tell us to do all these things, and they forget about us 3 other years, and they remember us 4 years later. Every single cycle, it happens again and again. And I'm one of the people,
I
like,
agree
I
with
really
that.
appreciate you because it seems like you have a love for the black community and you have a love for people, and I appreciate that. And I do too, because I don't express that in the same way as, let's say, as a black person who's a member of the Democratic Party. I get called Uncle Tom. I get called a racist. I hate myself. I love myself, and I love our people. I love everything about us. We have done so much for this.
Pause right there. Do y'all think that you can how deep do you think that love runs based on what he's saying? Would you say that I brother Osho say that I'm looking at that friend group too. But how deep do you think that love runs when someone whose political stance is presumably at odds with your cultural stance, and you say things like, I love my people? What does that mean? What do y'all hear when you hear that? Him saying, I love my people, I love us. What does that mean from us? The family here at Dear Black Gay Men. Darren T. Those who continue to uphold and create systems that black and POCs under constant oppression. Hold on. Being honest about the current issues we face as black people isn't about a divide, it's accountability. Being honest about the current issues we face as black people isn't about a divide, it's about accountability. Okay. And then Winter Menace, who are we holding accountable? Darren T. Those who continue to uphold and create the systems that keep black and brown people under constant oppression. Winter Minute, Darren T. But why would that lead to him to conservatives who hate him? But why would that lead him to conservatives who hate him? The issue is the two-party system. None of them care about us. Now I agree with that. Benjamin Johnson answered my question. I think that love is very, very thin. Now I will say one thing about politics in general. I think that we are at the place where a lot of us want to burn the whole system down. If Malcolm and Martin were alive today, I would definitely be with Huey. I believe in black people. I do not think that I would be in pre-Mecca Malcolm. Now, granted enough, there are a whole bunch of nuances that I am putting into one sentence. But I do think that the political structure that we exist in now does not see blackness as much more than a tool. Now, I will also offer though that the people that have had the greatest glimpse into what blackness looks like are the Kamalas and the President Barack Obamas. Excuse me, I should say Vice President Harris and the President Barack Obama, because there is a part of her who has lived this experience as a black woman or a black man, even though both of them are multiracial. I remember one time there was a conversation that was happening on Instagram with this dude I follow. Now, full disclosure, I follow him because he's in the gym. He's got a body and he got really thick legs, even though he's my height. He photographs very tall. That's why I mentioned the height. But he was saying that it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate and is a marker of the times that President Barack Obama and Vice President Harris got the closest to the Oval. One of them got in, another one got in the race to achieve it. But we couldn't have I don't know that we're ready for like a dark skin, brown skin, fluorescent beige black person to be in the most powerful person in the world. I don't know that we're ready for that. And it definitely ain't gonna be no conservative. Like there is no way that let me not say that because I was one who thought there's no way Donald Trump could be the president. Yet here we are. It's hard. I would be disappointed if we got a black conservative, like a black, like if Ben Carson would have gotten the presidential nomination and won. I would have been heartbroken if Tim Scott would have won. I would have been heartbroken if I can't think of any other black conservatives. Like I don't know that if we would have got a dark skinned black mama, black daddy conservative person into the White House, I would have been that's when I would be like Ellen and find me a house in Canada or in Italy somewhere or some shit. Like I would have been like throw the whole country away. And I don't know if that's because I am dark and a part of me wants to see like somebody who had both black parents in the White House, but that's just me. Let's keep going. We got 5 more minutes. Let's go.
What is the difference between someone being an immigrant and being a stolen person?
I mean, I understand that many people were stolen here, but 90% of historians agree that slavery would have not been possible if black slave owners within Africa didn't.
Slave merchants of Africa sold indentured servants who were brought to North and South America. The slaves sold at the ports were captured during war raids or sold by African leaders. Got it.
Off their people. White people didn't show up and just start stealing people. They didn't do that. That's not how that worked.
They literally did that.
But they didn't. They worked with black owners and black.
They
the Arabs did the same
literally
thing.
did that.
It's funny
and
you guys talk
Arabs
about
did that as well. And I think it's
They
very
did it in the 7th
important.
century
And I
too.
think it's important to note that there is an oversimplification of history as well as of Black people in Africa. There's a failure to acknowledge that in Africa, Black people did not consider themselves Black people. That was a racial distinction that was solely created by white oppressors to legitimize slavery.
Arab oppressors, actually. The Arabs did it in the 7th century. They were the first ones.
They did not name it under Blackness. They simply just decided we're going to go and have enslavers. This was a decision that was actualized and then tried to be pushed forward through eugenics. Literally, there was an executive order that was passed a few months ago that said that Donald Trump wants to now control the museums because he wants to take back control of the narrative around race.
That one tired me. Normally, King says he was the worst. Winter Menace says, yep. Winter Menace says, talk to these niggas, Amanda. Now, I will say this. Let me say this just as a content creator. This is the dialogue that I would not be able to entertain. I could never have a conversation with somebody who was so diametrically opposed to reason. The short clip made it seem as if he was looking for the space in this to demonize people of color. Like, he had no problem jumping on the Arabs enslaved Black bodies. He had no problem with that narrative, or Africans enslaving other Africans. But then historical data proves that Europeans enslaved Africans to bring them to the Americas for purposes of profit. And he doesn't want to accept that norm, that historical fact. Oh, God. This one hurt my feelings, y'all. I will say, I think it's perfect time to take a break. We'll be right back.
Do you know your HIV status? When you do, you can take control of your sexual health. HIV self-tests give you the power to decide when and where to test. You just swab and stick it in the tube. Test in the privacy of your own space. You can set a timer, sit back, and wait. In as little as 20 minutes, you'll know your results. No matter your test results, you have a community waiting to support you.
I love being able to test where I want.
I love that it's confidential and quick.
You gotta love free.
It makes me feel empowered.
When I show myself love, I show my community love.
It's important to know my status.
It's important to know your status.
It's cool to know, you know?
If we all get tested, we can stop HIV together. Learn more about HIV testing, including free HIV self-tests, at cdc.gov/HIV self-testing.
What up, dog? Welcome back to the Dear Black Gay Man podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. There is a couple comments I want to just run through because I mean, it's my show. Okay, let's not comment on some comments. Remember, if you'd like to never mind. If you'd like to join me and voice your opinions on the show, on the topic, visit livestream.dearblackgayman.com or click the link that is pinned in the comments. I will say, I want to add a couple things. Winter Minute said, talk to these niggas, Amanda. Fair. Philippe Cacklebergs, I don't know how to pronounce it. Waistline so large the shirt can't be buttoned down. Are you talking about me? Is that me? Because I'm showing midriff. I'm curious about that one. I think the Angola boy can be saved. She was getting through to him. Is the Angola boy the last one we were talking about? Again, I have not watched the whole thing. I'm going to be watching the full Jubilee video after this. But is that the last one? Who was talking about Arabs were enslavers? What you know, though? Dude in the yellow shirt is not even from the US. He's from Angola. Okay, so yeah, Angola guy. Europeans invented an entire new norm of slavery that literally cannot be replicated. Yep. Eternally Born said, hey, everybody. Hey. Real shit with Darren T said I'll be in ATL in October. Xander Crew. I think what Last Man brought up is important because it's needed reminder that slavery is not a white only construct. It's seen globally across all races and even seen today in Africa and Asia. Sip Sauce says, I like the show. Okay, the last guy is from Angola. He's African. Okay. Dope. I will see what his take on a whole myriad of topics are uh when I watch the full show. One thing, oh, and about the shirt, just so everybody can see, I can button it up. It goes all the way down, and it is also open in the it's also open in the back. I just choose to leave it unbuttoned. Eric the Red says every race was slaves, sir. What do you mean by that, Eric? The one we went through is a white only construct. There is a whole dialogue happening. Xander Cruz says, if anything, white Americans had a civil war to eliminate slavery, and yet America continues to be dragged for a sin seen globally. Okay, that's where we getting off the deep end. The remnants of slavery can't be felt, excuse me, can be felt today. That is a social fact. Now, there are many of us who disagree with that. And I don't know that I'd be as sensitive. I'm not a good person to have that because I feel it in my life, in my lived experience as someone who has only been on the planet for 40 years. But the remnants of the period of enslavement are absolutely palpable today. The fact that cities across the globe or across the country are still very much segregated. White people usually go north, black people usually go south. The fact that black communities are over policed as they were in rounding up the enslaved or previously enslaved during the period of enslavement. The fact that a lot of us cannot date our families back before the period of enslavement. The remnants of that are constantly to be felt. The fact that the people in power, by and large, are white, cisgender, heterosexual men. The fact that that someone can still be declined for a job based on any number of factors that usually boil down to black and things associated with blackness, like name and family structure and a whole bunch of other things. The fact that there are less grocery stores in black communities. The fact there are food deserts in places where people of color generally live and call community. Like all the remnants of slavery, of haves and have-nots, of white communities having excess while black communities have need, black and brown communities having need, date back to the period of enslavement. So I don't know the context of what you're saying in the chat, Xander, but I appreciate the commentary. It's just we got to deal in a black reality here on Dear Black Gay Men. And the black reality is that the remnants of slavery, the residue of the period of enslavement is real and can be felt with all of our lived experience if you poll the audience. I appreciate the dialogue. I will tell you that this one tired me out, y'all. I am not normally one for commentary about politics, but I did think that this was interesting. And the irony is there were so many connections between black conservatism versus black radicals and black gay men versus gay culture in general. And I'm very, very intrigued by it. I want to appreciate everybody in the chat, all the comments, everyone that joined and tapped in, because this was a doozy. This was a doozy. It is perfect. And perfect. That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. We'll be right back here with another episode of Dear Black Gay Men Podcast, Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. For more exclusive content, join us on Substack at dearblackgaymen.substack.com. The link is in the description. I appreciate you all more than I can express, and I will see you next time. Bye.